Welcome back to the RaceSpec Esports Season 2 Pacific F2 Series. I'm your host commentator for this evening, Curving Texas. Tonight we are racing in Hungary and it's sure to be another epic encounter out there on the track. Last week we saw some brilliant racing right down to the last lap at Silverstone, and those that finished up the front will be looking to carry over that form into this race weekend. As usual, be sure to post your predictions in the comments, and I will look through as I go. Good to see the Banana Cake Pie Force out in full colours. Aaron, I do believe there is room. I will message Matt and just see for you. So before we go into anything, I'll just do a quick run through the drivers' standings. Toddster 99 still on top with 168 points, but that gap has come down after last week. Spilly in P2 on 146. XJ Smith on 139 in third. We got Crossy in fourth on 126. Pure Gold in fifth. Plevs in 6th, Gaming Wafer in 7th, and he's back after his ban last week. Breno there in 8th spot, Kickbutt Kiwi in 9th, Iceman in 10th, Dr. Dre 3000 in 11th, Toes Rudy in 12th, Iconic Hugh in 13th, Zach Crichton in 14th, and I do believe he is back for this evening, if I'm not mistaken. BK in 15th, Big Donger in 16th, VSR Roscoe Arm in 17th, the Stone Towel in 18th, 19th Romy Alonso, Proximity Ross in 20th, and in 21st Alex 96 NZ. So it should be an interesting battle here. Obviously there's less than a race win now, less than a feature race win between the top two, so it's slowly coming down this gap, and it'll be interesting to see what happens here. So in the constructors, I believe there was a big difference for last race. The Sauber team continuing that consistency across most race weekends so far, and they're on 265 points ahead of the Uni Virtuosi team on 218. Dan sitting pretty comfortably in P3 there. Obviously they've got some good points recently, so they are up into third, I believe, past the ART cars. Trident and ART both in 4th and 5th, but tied for the same amount of points, and 1 point behind them is Prema. So a nice little battle there going on. In 7th we got the Carlin cars, Campos just behind them in 8th. MP Motorsports picking up some points recently and they're in 9th, and then in 10th spot we have BWT Arden. Yeah, so obviously let me know your predictions. Won't be 1 second. Aaron, unfortunately, Matt has said that you have to be a reserve to get into this, so try message after this, and obviously if we have got space with reserves, I'm not sure if anyone has dropped out yet as a full-time driver or as a reserve driver, but if there is space, just talk to him and try and get into this because, yeah, it's always good to have more people battling up the front there. Alright, what else will I do? I'll have a look through some track stats here. Once I get them off of my computer because I am not prepared for that side of it. Alright, so that's in a different language, that's really helpful. So I know that there's 14 corners around this track. One has a little kink in it as well, which is still classified as the same part. It's called Turn 12A. But yeah, so there's some nice few little overtaking spots. Obviously the second sector is pretty tight and narrow. Some people can make moves through there, but it is always risky. But we've got the end of the front straight, obviously the main overtaking spot there, and into that second straight into what is turn 2, I believe. So just coming into the qualifying session here, and it looks like it's a little bit overcast. Obviously these guys will know what is going on in the race. Am I very quiet? What is going on in the race? Oops. I'm kind of playing it back race there, and it doesn't seem too bad on my screen. But yeah, just let me know if it does continue like that. So down the front straight here, I've actually got to do all this stuff this time, so I'll get some, not that it really matters, but Wafer has taken the lead at the front there out of the first corner, followed by Iconic Q. But Schmidt fighting back again. Now Zach Crichton moves into the lead. Lunacy's already invalidated his lap by the looks of it down the back there, and the Uni Virtuosa car is not doing too good, both 16th and 17th, so that's not really going to help them at all there, unfortunately. So Zach's first race back since round 1 in Bahrain, and already putting the pieces together and looking good. Yeah, so I'm sure the sound's probably like bouncing off everything but a new mic. So coming into the final corner here, and Zach Crichton is probably going to hang this one together by the looks of it, with Crossy just behind him. 28.461 there for Zach. So a very nice lap. A few people obviously making mistakes early on there. We've seen a lot of people just lose their lap time pretty early on there, and then a few towards the end as well. Obviously, the end of that second sector, as we've had some talks about it, there is a bit of track extending that can happen there. Am I missing something? I cannot see Todster anywhere on there now. But yeah, just running back through. Zach Crichton in first, ahead of Crossy. Gaming Wafer in third. Plebs in fourth. Jay Schmidt in fifth. Iconic Q in sixth. BK in seventh. Pure Gold in eighth. Stone Tower in ninth. And Dre in 10th. Then outside the top 10, James Cruz in 11th spot there in the other Carlin car. So not a bad qualifying for him. Almost in that top 10. And then we've got a few others there. And then I think we missed out on 4 drivers' laps there. Obviously, with the track limits being so tight around this track and obviously being able to run wide. Expert has passed away, unfortunately. Oh, it's wet for the race. Expert has not passed away. He did have something he needed to do. So I am just running the show tonight on my own. I was considering bringing someone in with me, but yeah, obviously didn't get around to it. I was too hungry and I needed dinner, and then I kind of was setting stuff up. But wet race, we've seen some interesting ones, but we've seen it the other way around. We've seen the rain come late in the race, and it start dry, I believe, or the opposite. What was it? Maybe it was the opposite way around, but it was definitely changing conditions. So maybe we will see a full wet race where it doesn't actually change for once. Yes, rest in peace, definitely. So Todd's starting right at the back here, so there could be some good points on offer here for some of the drivers. Obviously, we've got people up the front like Crossy, Wafer, Plebs, Schmidt, Pure Gold in 8th there. Billy's down in 13th as well, so Zach just having some fun here on the formation lap, which is to be expected in these kind of conditions. It seems like we're in for a bit of a shake-up with this championship though. I had Plev say, I think it was either last round in the post-race interviews, that he thinks he's out of this championship. And I said to him, I don't think you're out of it yet. Obviously, he didn't have a very good first 2 rounds. But, yeah, there's some interesting kind of stuff going on here with this championship. So, it's slowly closing back in again. So, we should see a good fight in the last few rounds. But these guys are just having a bit of fun here. Saw Wafer in the background also hanging the rear out. May as well get it all out the window now, rather than doing it later, because yeah, we'll see some. I'm sure we'll see some track extensions and penalties. Obviously, we have seen races that are definitely decided by that late on, so my predictions for today, I see if Zach can bounce back here, but I'm expecting another good run there from Plebs. I think he's going to move up. I want to see BK as well get a good result. Obviously, we saw last race he was up there fighting for a while and then had some connection problems, so I want to see him do well. Obviously, we're going to see Todster and Spilly charge through the grid again. It feels like we're saying it way too often considering they're the top 2 in the championship, but should be interesting here. So, give me a good camera angle, please. Turn those lights on. We're waiting a lot. Oh, there's the light. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go. Looks like a fairly good start from Zach there. Whoever that is in 5th spot is Schmidt. Oh my god, there's cars everywhere. This is ridiculous. Into the first corner we come. And a big dive, and there's contact there with BK and I believe Iconic Q. 5-second penalty for a severe collision. Jesus, these cars are all over the place at the moment. Zach's been off the track more times than he's been on it at this point this season. Crossy trying to hang it around the outside. Zach holds the position there. Todster back at the rear again. Something happened to him at turn 1 by the looks of it from the map there. And we've got a little break in the middle. Oh, okay, so Todster has just jumped up to 7th. So unfortunately, we are going to have some issues there with Todster. And there seems to be something wrong with BK there. Obviously, he did have that earlier contact here. He's lost the end plate on that one. So the left side of his end plate is gone. And Iconic Q, he was also involved in that prior to that. So whether something's going on again there. But back at the front, slowly. Spilly's into P3. How has this happened? My word, what a start. He's up 10 spots. Todster up 12. Kickback Kiwi up 10. Wow, this is very impressive stuff. Now, I think, hopefully, I'm just going to fix something real quick. We should be good. Cool. All right. Yeah, amazing. It looks like it's definitely going to be something interesting. Very changeable conditions here, and hopefully, I just want to see it stay wet the whole time, because obviously once it becomes dry, we've seen some different strategies and stuff. A few weeks ago, Plebs tried to stick it out on the dry tyres and they just died right at the end when it became wet, and he couldn't hang on to that one. BK enters the pits there, obviously to change that wing. Oh, and we've had another crash there. That looks like it's one of the MP Motorsports cars. I think it's Stone Tao. Unfortunately, he's gone around halfway down that one. And we've lost Todster there. So that's a big shame for him. I know he's been having some problems in the last week there. I think he's running off a hot spot. So for the sake of him, hopefully his car can drive around well enough, and until he gets back in, get a good holding position there. Zach slowly opening up a lead here. It's out to 1.1 seconds. Obviously no DRS, so the 1 second gaps aren't really as helpful as usual, but still slowly creeping out. Ooh, wide there from Schmidt in the end of the second sector there. So Wafer's gone down 4. Apart from the 4 that are right at the back, he's the only other person that's lost a lot of spots. I still can't get over what a start from Spilly that is. To be up in P3 from 13th on the grid is exceptional. And that's really helped him out. Obviously not sure if he was running a different setup in qualifying or whether he had an issue where he ran wide or something. But his time was well off the pace there, so obviously something did go down. So yeah, Todster's car now dropping back like a stone in these wet conditions. Let's have a look at this battle here. Schmidt closing up on the back of Spilly, so Todster is back, so that's good for him and hopefully good for the race either way. Lead out to 1.6 seconds there. No, slowly drop back down, but obviously this track and track extensions and corner cutting, obviously there's a chicane there, and I believe 2 or 3 spots where you run wide a lot at this track, so you got to watch out there. Even if you do run wide, obviously just not gaining advantages, sort of just hanging on there. So 2.2 seconds this lead. So Zach is currently running away with it. I know Spilly's had some good races here in these conditions. So he'll be looking to have a move here on Crossy as soon as possible. We might see one down this straight. And then Schmidt and Plebs will hopefully get involved with a fight here with Crossy. But as we've seen all season, these two, big moment there for Plebs in the background. Lucky to hang on to that. We've seen that multiple times. And Spilly now diving down the inside. Holds it really tight there. Is Crossy going to be able to get him back? He's hanging it around the outside and he's got the inside line here. Spilly goes deep and Schmidt trying to stick his nose in. We saw this last week. Exact same positions as well. Crossy in front, just holding Spilly up enough so Schmidt could make a move. Will we see it again? Oh, and Spilly's gone through there. Very nice move. Got a better drive out of that corner. And Schmidt looking to dive. He's going to dive his teammate. Oh, I'm just going to not comment on that one at all. So those guys are having issues with their connection with each other. Because I don't think that's a feasible way of overtaking a car by driving over the top of them. But Crossy still holds that position, apparently. It's allowed Plevs to catch back up to these guys, only 1.1 behind. Everything in the midfield's kind of spread out now a little bit. And obviously Zach at the front there is 4.4 seconds. Schmidt has gone past Crossy from what we can see there. They're still battling each other. It's not the most interesting thing to watch. Watching two cars merge into one and drive on each other. Although at least they are the same car, so if they do run into each other and the paint does go onto the other car, won't matter quite as much. All this is doing though is letting Spilly get away from these guys. And he slowly brought the gap down on Zach there. It was over 4 seconds just a little while ago. And a pit stop there from Iconic Hugh. Not sure if he had damage from earlier on. Oh, and I think we just saw a spin there. Gold Gloves did spin in the background. So that's very unfortunate for him. There's a nice little group here, consisting of Dre. Is it Dre? No, it's Roscoe, Proximity Ross, Toddster, Alex, and Lunacy just a little bit further behind. But they're all sort of roughly around the same spot. There's not too many close battles as such going on. Obviously, we've got Stone Tower on the back of James Cruz down here. Try and give these guys a bit of airtime. Oh, something's happened because he was right on him there. Obviously, something happened out of that corner. BK back into the pits again as well for a second pit stop. So that's very unfortunate for him. Definitely looks like it's getting drier. Is that what they've only got the wet set of tyres in F2. So obviously there's no jumping straight into a onto an intermediate set to run between. So you've either got to sit on either side of the fence there with these conditions. Gap 4.1 down to 3.9 through the last corner, but he's not being able to pull away as much as he had been with the Sauber behind him. If Spilly wins this one though, that is a fairly tremendous drive there. Obviously he's made his way through now, up 11 spots into second spot, and this is big for his championship. As we were saying earlier, that with Toddy outside the points, obviously coming into the pit now, so we've got some midfield runners coming into the pits here. So this will be interesting to see how it goes. Toddster's car still, unfortunately, looks like it's ghosted. James Cruz also into the pits there. There's a nice little battle here. Again, Plebs is slowly closing in. We got yellow flags up ahead. I'm pretty certain it's just local yellows. Nothing very interesting going on there. Ooh. Okay, that's Iconic Hugh's car. Gotcha. That's what I was missing out on. I don't think I can see it on the map. That's right. Okay, so onto the dry tyres. Yeah, obviously it had started drying out a bit and we saw some people jump on it real early. Toddster's come back in. His car had pitted and gone on to another set of wets, so that's not going to help him unless the conditions stay that way. Obviously, Zach with a 4.3 second lead. One of the Saubers comes in, it's Schmidt. Crossy follows him in, so they're going to have to double stack. This is not going to work for Crossy, unfortunately, and the Sauber boys are in a tough position there. Although, you don't want to lose out. Pure Gold also follows him in. Wafer stays out. Kickbutt Kiwi into the pits as well. So, track has dried out enough. Oh, that's very dangerous. I don't like looking at that. And now we wait for Crossy. When can he move in? Now he moves in. And they've got those medium tyres there as well. 12 laps, and we should see about 14. What are we going to see? 12 laps. I'm trying to figure out what we'll have in the sprint race, but it should be around this. They're waiting. I'm just going to go and watch something else. So, Schmidt, the gap from the leader to Schmidt, 36.2 seconds. We'll watch that. It's up to 36.4. Is it too early for those mediums? Will they get enough temperature into them to keep traction? There's definitely no rainfall coming down. The track looks fairly dry everywhere, so, but he's still losing out to Zach Crichton there. So it's kind of a little, yes, he's running wide there. They're just not hanging on as well as you'd expect for what the track kind of looks like and what the conditions kind of look like. We've lost Crossy there as well, unfortunately. Has his car come out of the pits? Is he just coming out of the pits now? That is, yeah. I'm not sure if that's frustration or what. Zach Crichton, now leader, into the pits now. Oh, and a 5-second speeding and pit lane penalty for Zach. His car's very hard to get, so Pleb stays out another lap. And at this point, that's the right call, because Schmidt had lost like 2.2 seconds or something there. So this is a nice strategy from Plebs. Wafer comes in. Oh, Crossy's car put the wets on. Or didn't change tyres, because apparently those are the same set of wets. Yep, that's just what we like to see. So here's Schmidt. He comes around the last corner. Oh, and a big tank slapper. Oh, Jesus. I'm glad I caught that one. That was exciting to watch. So Schmidt comes out about kind of where he was. Obviously a little bit further back off what Spilly and Zach are. But the gap between Zach and Plebs is coming down there. It came down about 3/10. So obviously just that one lap. Big difference in what we saw there. So will we see... It's sort of still staying around the same thing. So either way, Matt's not losing... Plebs isn't losing too much here to Zach behind him. But that's a big tank slapper. Has he saved that? Oh. My word. Now Crossy comes into the pits, and obviously to put the dries on, Plebs into the pits now as well. And we've got a crash there. That was Alex's car, and that's in the middle of the straight. Let's just watch here from James Cruz's point of view. Yeah, off to the left, so not sure what's happened there. Oh, that's a bit of an odd one. So Plebs still coming down the pit lane to his stall. He's going to put on the medium. Zach Crichton comes out of the last corner there. With the back end out sideways, as usual, but still a good gap now. It's about 5 seconds back to Spilly, and Spilly's going to jump Plebs there as well. Good to see Banana making it to the chat now. Toddster's just gotten a 5-second speeding pit lane penalty. So, Plebs jumps into P3. He jumps Schmidt, and obviously the unfortunate stuff that happened with Crossy there has sent him down to the back. I'll change it back to intervals. What are we looking at? Obviously, the fastest lap's going to come in just as the track evolves here, so there's no point looking at that. But we've got a good little battle here between Plebs, Jay Schmidt, and Gaming Wafer for the last spot on the podium. Oh, look at this, side by side, Pure Gold and Kickbutt Kiwi. I'll try and go on board here with Pure Gold as he tries to make a move. We've got a few little battles. It's all closed down now with these drier conditions. I think Kickbutt's got the pace though. So obviously once again, not sure about the setups and the stuff and what we would have seen for some drivers there, whether they took the risk or not, seeing that it was going to rain for the start of the race, whether they took another setup. Oh, that's a big bit of wheel spin there. I'm just going to jump up to this as well. Wafer's nearly got a run there on Schmidt. Is he going to send it wide and deep? Pure Gold to the outside. Oh, it's too hard, I don't know. Oh, and that's very deep from Kickbutt there. He's missed his braking completely. I can't remember if I said Pure Gold or Kickbutt, but I meant Kickbutt. And Kickbutt has lost that position to Pure Gold there, up into 6th for him. And he needs to capitalise with those standings. Same with Spilly. Spilly's doing a good job there in 2nd spot, coming up on his teammate, who is a lapped car. But the gap's all kind of spread across the podium there, and there's some penalties going out. James Cruz picks up a 3-second penalty. I think that's his first one. But yeah, so Zach does have that 5-second penalty as well, I just remembered. So the gap only really is half a second between Zach Crichton and Spilly there. So we got to keep watching that as this race goes on. Zach Crichton, another fastest lap there. Really putting the foot down, obviously. He needs that gap, so 5.5 seconds there. That's all he's after. Gonna see a move here. Schmidt, he does. He goes late and to the inside. He was looking for the move, and then I didn't think he was going to pull it. But he's done well there, and he's made the move stick. So into 3rd spot for Jay Schmidt. Oh, Pleb's a bit of a lock-up. Wafer's followed him in a little bit deep there. Yeah, gap's gone out to 6 seconds now between Zach and Spilly, so we'll focus on that one a bit later and check in on the gap. But it looks like Schmidt's got some extra pace here. He's slowly pulling away from Plebs there. Just a little bit, not too much, but just enough to obviously notice it and make it seem more comfortable for Schmidt. And we will have DRS. Oh, and that's a lot of understeer there for Plebs going into that corner. He's gone very wide. He's lost a lot of traction. And Wafer all over the back of him now. As we saw there as well, Todster did pick up the fastest lap. So unfortunate for him, he did have pace. But like we said, this is a rolling... Oh, Jesus. There's a crash there. I believe that is James Cruz, unfortunately, hitting the tyre barriers. So we probably will see him into the pits now. But yeah, that DRS is open, and thankfully for Plev's sake, he has got DRS to defend here from Wafer as well. So he needs to stay within that second of Schmidt now. It's going to help him out big time, but he is slowly pulling it back in now. So obviously this fight's not over for the podium until the very last lap, unless Schmidt can make a miracle and pull away here. But he's, dare I say, barely but he is pulling in on Spilly, so it was out by like the 8.8, but Spilly's losing out a lot to Zach now. It's up to nearly 7 seconds, so Zach looks like he's got that one in the bag at the moment. Kick butt's kind of still staying about the same gap. Still hanging with Pure Gold there. Yeah, there you go. So Toddy's got a 36.7 now. So it's just rebounding between Zach and Toddy at the moment. Lunacy on Roscoe. So this is the fight for the last points paying spot. And Arden really want those points. But then again, MP Motorsports have been picking up points recently. And they, even though it's only a little bit, it's still, obviously it's still helping them every point. In this battle with Arden for what is 9th spot in the Constructors' Championship over 10th spot. But if Lunacy was to overtake Roscoe here and they were to work together, obviously, to get some points between the two of them, it would be very interesting to see. Just going to duck back up to the front now. Wafer and Plebs slowly pulling it in. It's under 4/10 the gap there. Wafer's got a nice run there. Don't think he's going to be able to make a move. There's too much power with that DRS. Obviously, being able to defend with it really does help him out. So these mediums obviously will go to the end of the race from what we believe. Which is fair enough. Seen a move here. Roscoe up on Proximity Ross, and he's held that tight. But he hasn't got DRS there, and Roscoe's got the DRS. He's going to be able to hang that one around the outside and on the inside for the next corner. He's gone sideways there, but he's made the move stick. So very good move there from Roscoe, and up into 9th spot now. So we'll keep an eye on this battle here. On the side, just to see if he closes back in or whether he pulls away now while he's got that clean air in front of him. This battle still rages on here with Jay Schmidt, Plevs and the Gaming Wafer. It's going to be a bit of an endurance one, see who can stretch it. Plevs does have the freshest tyres out of all of them. Schmidt with the oldest there as well. Just coming up to a lapped car. Didn't get too much in the way there. I do believe that is Gold Gloves, or is that... yeah, that was Gold Gloves. Zach's already lapped Crotty as well after what happened earlier, but obviously purple sectors coming in everywhere. This track just keeps getting better and better. Seen a few of the backmuckers jump in and go onto the softs there. Obviously, for people who are going to be obviously sort of stretching it, you might, whether you just want to be you and take those fastest lap points away from someone. Not that it matters, because I'm pretty certain it goes back to someone who's in the top 10 anyway in F2. Different sort of ruling to what's in the F1 category. Yeah, on the left there, I can see that Roscoe has pulled 1.6 second gap on Proximity Ross now. And he'll be looking to close in on Dre there. It's 4 seconds, but it is coming down. So he's got a bit of pace, Roscoe. So keep an eye on him. And Lunacy's going to be fighting his teammate for that last spot in the points. How do you guys think this one's going to turn out? Do you think Schmidt can hold on, or do you think Plevs or Wafer is going to jump onto this podium? Wafer's dives to the inside there. Nothing getting done once again. But Schmidt's looking fairly comfortable. He hasn't had an actual challenge or a lunge at him yet as such. They're closing in, sort of staying there, but it's nothing big or anything. So it's just sort of the same sort of thing. While we're through this middle sector where no one will probably make a move, I'll just watch into this because If I don't, someone will make a move. No move there. I'll move up to Zach, give him some airtime, which he deserves. He's in the lead and completely dominating the field. So coming into the penultimate corner and up towards the final corner there. What do we got after this? Once he crosses the line, we got 4 laps to go. But yeah, just a comfortable race there from Zach. Pole position. Pretty certain he's led the whole thing. Thinks Crossy got along beside him at one point, but then Zach made that move stick, and from then on it's been pretty smooth sailing for him as he pulled away there. All right, this is the one. Wafer right on the back of Plebs, coming out of the last corner. Plebs looking to defend with that DRS and the toe, and it's just comfortable at the moment. It's really comfortable. It's too hard to make that move. Obviously, with the DRS power, you are, obviously you are pulling it in there. But, Banana, I was going to send you one before. I was actually going to send you one to join me in commentary, but, you'll have to message him about that. Unfortunately, I would invite you if I was able to, but I can't. So I'm not going to check yet, but I want to check the penalties or the warning situation as well, just to see where we stand in terms of who's close. I don't think anyone really has got any penalties from what I've seen, but a lot of the time I am wrong. You would have been able to probably hear me yawning then. Yep. That's what happens when you get out of bed before 10 o'clock for once in your life. Which is also a lie, because I didn't. That's pretty certain I just laid in bed. Zach with another fastest lap there. So this is going to be interesting. Obviously Toddy's going to come across the line later, but he is in 12th. He's pulling in on... Todster might actually get 10th here. So he's got 3.5 laps. And he's pulling in on those other guys there. Plebs around the outside. Sorry, I nearly missed that. I saw the move, but I just didn't change it for some reason. And he's hanging it, but Schmidt hangs on again. So there you go. First little bit of nose given there from Plebs, and Schmidt defended it well and hung on to it. Yeah, Todd's just going to get 10th here. And, Zach's picked up another penalty there. So, if Spilly keeps it clean, he's got to pull in 6/10. He won't know this unless you're listening, Spilly, which I'm pretty certain you do a lot of the time. Zach has got 8 seconds worth of penalties. The gap is 8.6. That's 6/10 you need to pull in if you haven't got your penalties either. Just going to jump onto Toddy here. He's definitely going to make the move as soon as possible. 3 lap younger tyres than Lunacy in front of him, 2 laps younger than the other Arden car. These Arden boys, if they miss out on some points this week, it's they're not going to be too happy about that one. Toddy gets close there. They should be working together here. They should have been blocking as much as possible to try and get one of them ahead. Todd's has moved up into 11th there. And probably will get that move done on Proximity Ross pretty quick. So into the first corner here for Wafer, Plebs and Schmidt. And it's all the same still. Wafer close to Plebs, but just not enough in it there. Will we see a dive from him later? That's a big lock up from Plebs there. And he's almost left the door open with that lock up as well. Gap at the front still 8.5, 8.7, still bouncing around that area. So Spilly's not out of this one yet. It's going to come down real late. Jump back to that battle there with Toddster. He's going to get the move done here. You expect, and this could set him up for another fastest lap there. With the toe down in the first corner. He kicks the inside. Proximity loss of traction is what I was going to say. Wafer right on the back of Plebs here. into the third last corner. We come into the penultimate corner. Zach Crichton has just started the last lap. There's a crash there for... That's Pure Gold. And he's gone off on his own there by the looks of it. That's a bit of a strange one. Has he got a puncture or anything? No, he's still going pretty comfortably. Sorry, I'm going to jump back to the other one. But Kickbutt moves up into 6th spot there. Wafer is close. He's gonna... Oh, he's trying to send that. That's a very big lunge. And they've made contact. Plevs hangs onto it. Wafer goes around. Unfortunately, that's ruined Plev's chance at third there. But at least he didn't go around there. That's a very big lunge from Wafer. It was never going to come off. But last lap, we always knew it was going to happen to someone. But just wasn't sure which one. Now, it's not for points, but these two are battling it out there as well. I'd say we'll probably see a move done. How far away is Zach? Zach is coming to the end of the second sector now. We'll switch back for him for the last lap because there's not really many battles going on. Into the penultimate corner here. And pretty comfortable. With the penalties, it's still going to be enough. He's still going to have a big enough gap there between him and Spilly. As long as he doesn't make a meal of this last little bit. So, unserved penalty there. And we'll see Spilly come out of the last corner and across the line now. 0.8 is the gap. So, close. Very close in the end. Not on track, but after that penalty. So, very nice position there from Spilly. That's going to be some good points for him. Schmidt in third, Plevs in fourth. Wafer with that late lunge comes across in 5th spot. Kickbutt Kiwi, he's made that obviously up to 6th there with the unfortunate bit of... Oh, there's a battle going on back there. I'll wait till Kickbutt comes across the line. So he comes across in 6th. Now, I just want to watch Roscoe Arm and Dre here. I think Roscoe Arm's just a little bit too late, but he will pick up 9th there. Although I think I actually saw that Roscoe Arm had a penalty as well. Yeah, he did. And Toddster comes across with those penalties as well. And the Arden car's coming across side by side nearly. And Lunacy jumps into 10th there. So they do pick up a point there, the Arden boys. So there you go. So at least they put their heads down and they made it through that and got that point there by 1.8 seconds. Everyone else across the line, and there's BK. So Zach Crichton takes the feature race with Spilly behind him and Jay Schmidt in 3rd spot. So it'll be interesting to see what we get here in the sprint race with this reverse grid. Whether the conditions are going to stay dry as they are now, or whether they go back to being wet. But yeah, so there we go. The Carlin driver picks up his first win of the season, I believe. Obviously, and ahead of Spilly, who in that first race, the only race that Zach has raced so far this season, they did make some contact in the second sector of one of the races. Can't remember if it's the sprint race or the feature race. I think it's the sprint race. Sprint race. Sorry, not COVID-19. Don't worry about that. But yeah, so joining each other on the podium there. So Zach Crichton takes that win in that race. So 27 points with the obviously qualifying points as well, I believe. Or did he get the fastest lap? No, he got the fastest lap points, so fair enough. So he's up to 31 because he did take the qualifying points as well. So that's a big haul from him early on, maximum haul in that first race. And then you got Spilly there, P2. Schmidt in P3, Plevs P4, Gaming Wafer P5, Kickbutt Kiwi P6, Pure Gold P7, Dre P8, Roscoe Arm P9, and Lunacy in P10. So we've seen the pace so far in both kind of conditions there. Zach driving away with that one. Toddster did have pace, and we should see him come back here. Looks very dry and very sunny. So that's good conditions for the drivers, and Yeah, so unfortunately, Banana, I'm not sure if he's been able to invite you or not. Doesn't seem like he has. Someone just commented on the stream, and for some reason, it's not coming up for me. Not far away from going into this one. So obviously, mediums are the tires of choice. Ooh. No. Thought I caught it. Oh, there we go. Nah. Cool. So, reverse grid, Dre in first, Pure Gold in second, Kickbutt Kiwi in third. I just want to point out, Pure Gold and Kickbutt Kiwi always seem to be up the front for this reverse grid, or like close to. So, they always pick up good points in this race, but consistent enough to bag some good points across the whole weekend. Obviously, Pure Gold in third in the championship. So, he's not out of this one, and if he can run away with this, which you never know, especially with what's around, there's a lot of bloody. Someone's either hit a bird or there's bloody those things. Can't remember what they're called. Something. So we look down a little bit further here. Obviously, Wafer in P4 there, Plevs P5. Schmidt P6, Billy P7, Zach Crichton P8, and Roscoe Lunacy. Toddster going to be looking to make some early moves, latch on with those front guys as they push through. Our Proximity Ross, BKXI, Crossy, he'll be looking for a big comeback after those unfortunate double stacking issues there with the Sauber team. That's the first bit of sort of letdown from that team we've seen this season. Obviously, we have seen some poor results in some races, but that's just that was down to team strategy there. Obviously, one of them should have stayed out that extra lap, and unfortunately for Crossy, coming in as the second driver there, that's affected him out of the two of them. Then we got Gold Gloves, Stone Tower, James Cruz, and Iconic U back on the grid already, waiting for this one to go. So I want some top 3 predictions here for the sprint race. Also, I nailed it with the 14 laps. Banana, I know you're going to choose probably the Prema boys to do well. But here we go. Hurry up, turn those lights on. We got a green flag there. Lights are on. 5 lights. And we're off. And that's looking like not a bad start from Dre there. He's going to hold on to that pretty comfortably. Plebs, his teammate, down the outside there. And he might jump up into the podium positions. We've seen a late lunge. Oh, and I believe that was Wafer. Plebs has gone really wide there as well. And he's lost out a little bit. But he's trying to move to the outside. He's got Spilly on the outside of him. Oh, and a bit of contact between Zach Crichton and Spilly there. Toddster's jumped both of them. But at the front, Dre, there's a crash in the background. And that's Stone Tower. I think he made a bit of contact there with Crossy as well. But everyone's still going on track. Bit of damage there, I'm sure, between those drivers. So Toddster and Iconic Q up 4 and 6 spots there. Everyone else sort of only 1 spot, either up or down. But the front two, that front row, stayed the same again. And Dre is looking to push early. He's going to want to get away. Obviously, we do see these tyres go off. And I think that's a move from Schmidt there on Kickbutt Kiwi. No, he didn't get it done. And he's got Plebs all over the back of him. But this is the group that we expect to see come through here. Schmidt, Plebs, Toddster, Spilly, and Zach Crichton. All looking very quick across this weekend. And then obviously Gaming Wave has made the jump early. He's up into third. So he also showed some pace there to be in that top 5, battling for that podium. So with that little gap behind him and a car of Kickbutt Kiwi in between that group, he'll be looking to go early. Ooh, Plevs is making a move here, and he's gotten through on Schmidt. And Schmidt's going to go in deep. They've made a bit of contact there. It's fair enough, though. Is he going to stick a wheel in? Oh, Plevs tried it, and that's going to affect him. Todster's going to go through. And Spilly also goes through, so unfortunately for Plevs, he did get... Oh, Spilly's wide. Big lock up, and we've had a crash in the background there. Sorry, I'm just going to go back to that. That is, unfortunately, it's BK. Some more bad luck for him. Just keep it going, mate. You got this. Just get back into this one. Oh, Jesus, I've caught that again from Pure Gold. He's lost the position there. But I'd rather lose the one position than lose about, 18 of them and have to retire the car. Nearly an expensive accident there. So these guys are all slowly moving through here. Everyone obviously on the mediums as well. Smart strategy, always stick with those tyres for as long as possible in these kind of races. Unless we see a safety car, which so far this season actually has been a little bit of a... the word that I'm after. That's what they've been. Not common occurrence. They've been pretty scarce. So Dre holding on pretty comfortably. It's got that little bit of a gap. It's not a massive gap, but it's enough that, oh, we've got yellows in the first sector there. Doesn't look like anyone's around, but there might have been someone go around a little bit earlier. Who was late to jump on that one? Now these guys slowly catching up here. It's all bunching back up. So, all the way down to 10th is less than a second between every driver. Nearly half a second between all of them, apart from the gap between Kickbutt and Pure Gold, and then obviously Roscoe and Zach Crichton. But it's a bad run there. It's a very bad run. This could affect him big time, Pure Gold. He's not going to latch on and get DRS, and that could throw Kickbutt or Schmidt past him if he doesn't get back under a second there. Oh, and Schmidt makes the move, and he makes it stick, and now Todster, is he going to have a lunge? No, he sits behind. He's taking a wide line there. He's looking for a good run, but you can't let Spilly get up your inside. Zach Crichton looking for a move, so he didn't get anything done in the background there. He actually made a bit of a meal of that corner and onto the straight, but Todster makes the move stick, and Spilly once again trying to capitalise on it. Oh, I thought they were in the wall there. And these guys side by side again. Now we've seen this affect drivers with the drive there coming out of the corner. They're still side by side, these two. And he's still hanging on to it. Spilly finally get the move done, and he does. But Kickbutt sends it at the chicane, and unfortunately he's gone around. Now his magic trick this week was a disappearing act, and there he is. He's reappeared in 15th. But that's very unfortunate for him. He was up the front there, obviously sticking with them. So, change the lead there. Sorry, I missed that completely. Sorry about that. I was too busy watching that. Gaming Wafers jumped into the lead, and he's now 9/10 in front. So he'll be... Oh, and a big moment there for Dre. He's run wide. Pure Gold and Jay Schmidt all over the back of him. He's not going to have DRS to defend here. And Wafers jumped into the wall there, trying to hug it tight, but he's got a bad run off that last corner. Move incoming, nothing there on the first straight. Dre's gone wide, very wide. He's lost out 3 spots there. So that's a big shame for him. another crash there, and I think that's Iconic Q around. Yeah, it is. Didn't actually see what happened there, unfortunately. Big moment from Wafer there, but a controlled slider. We've lost another car around there. I think that's the Stone Tower. Can't actually see him on the track, but he's definitely lost a wing. Oh, and I've caught Iconic Q as well coming around there. Obviously, his tyres after that first spin were still very warm. And he's throwing that one around again. But back at the front, Wafer still hovering over a second here. Can Pure Gold, Schmidt and Todster pull him in? That's right, we lost kick, but I was going to say, Crossy up to 10th there. 2 seconds off the back of this sort of front pack as well, but he's looking to latch on early. Still got 8-9 laps to go here. Obviously just completed our 5th lap, but this gap is down now, under 7/10. Pure Gold looking to get on and try and make that move up back into the lead. Spilly also passed Dre, just in the process then. And if Dre and Plevs are in a party together, you'd expect him to let him through fairly comfortably. Unfortunately, Dre doesn't look like he's got the pace or the tyres at the moment to sort of run with these guys straight up. Got a yellow there in Sector 3, but that's retiring in the pits. It's a few cars there. Big lock up there from Spilly. And he's looking to close the gap up to Todster there and onto that front group. So Wafer very good through this second sector by the looks of it. He pulls it back out to a second after the front 2 straights. And slowly coming down there. Obviously cars using those limits as much as possible there without getting called out for it. Oh, and that's a bit of a lock up. A wide turn there for Wafer, and this might give Pure Gold a chance to close in on the lead here. It's going to be about 8 tenths. No, it's over at 9 tenths now coming down the straight. Obviously, he's going to have DRS there, so it'll pull it back in, but they've kind of dropped Todster there a little bit. Plevs looks for his move. He gets his move done, and Zach Crichton looks to follow him. He sticks a nose in. Dre keeps it wide. Will he get a good enough drive out of the corner here? He's not going to look to dive. Zach, though, goes for a dive on Plevs, and Roscoe Arm looking for a move as well. Or Dre, obviously 8th spot is the point to cut off here in the sprint race. And Crossy behind also looking to catch up to these guys. He's pulled in another half a second there. So he'll be looking to get at least something out of this weekend. Very unfortunate for him. Wafer, as usual, has pulled that gap out to 1.3 in this middle sector. So I think it's towards the start of that second sector where he does all the damage. Obviously very quick through that corner. Whether he's running a bit more downforce, which I can't actually remember. I don't think you can. Oh, and that's Roscoe Arm gone there. And it would be a shame if I didn't call out the Ragunathan in the room. But doing a good job of letting drivers past and not getting in the way as he re-enters the track there. So unfortunate for Roscoe Arm, but also very good sportsmanship from him by not infringing on anyone else's race. Now, Zach Crichton, he's got pace here. He's looking to make a move on Plevs and get on with it. So dives to the inside now, and he's going to get that move. Plevs with the over-under. He's looking to get it back along beside Zach. Doesn't get it done. So Zach now up into 6th spot and looking to close the gap with the gap down to Spilly there, who's also just got it under a second to Todster now. So he'll have DRS if he can hang it through the rest of this. Roscoe Arm retires in the pit, so bad race there for the MP Motorsports boys. Unfortunately, both out of this one. Now, Schmidt is going to be looking... Well, Todster's actually a lot closer than what I thought to anyone. But I was going to say Schmidt's going to want to look for a move as soon as possible on Pure Gold here. Obviously, no DRS to defend, and they're losing out to Wafer now. And it's starting to show a lot. It's nearly up to 2 seconds. How close can Todster come in this last corner? Spilly right on these guys now, so he's looking to make it as well. This is going to be an interesting end to the race here for those guys. And Todster almost goes for it. Oh, he got the door closed on him there by Schmidt, but also I don't think he was far enough up to get that move on at all. Zach is now 2.1 behind Spilly, so Spilly's done a really good job here again to pull it in. If he can make it through on these guys, he's going to have a very interesting fight on his hands in terms of... I think Zach's probably going to comfortably take this weekend just because of everything that's gone on, fastest lap, qualifying on pole, and obviously winning that feature race. So pretty good points for him there, and I think he already had like a 13-point gap back to Spilly. So we've seen a move there. Crossy up into 8th spot and into the points now ahead of Dre. And another move there with Todster and Spilly. So Todster now, he did lose it on Spilly, but he's gotten back. And Todster's around. He tried to stick a nose in there on Schmidt. And only person that's hurt is Todster there. So another big moment in this championship twist, and that one is going to hurt Todster there. What's he going to do? He's going to stay out and obviously try and cool those tyres down a little bit there. But this is only going to help Schmidt. He's not going to have to worry about defending for a little bit. There's a 1.5 second gap back there now to Spilly. But Spilly's got company with Zach all over the back of him. And Plevs is right there as well. So those guys all trying to creep up here, and with 4.5 laps to go, they're still going to want a chance at this podium, which isn't too far out of their reach. Wafer doing a nice job now. He's pulling away comfortably. 3 seconds nearly up the road. He's just going to want to keep it clean. No penalties, obviously, is what we want to see from him. There we go. We saw one picked up there from Kick Butt Kiwi. So it can happen, obviously, around here pretty easily, as I said earlier on. So Zach Crichton's just made a move on Spilly, and Spilly's around. I didn't see that. I don't know what you're talking about. No one saw it at all. But yeah, so Spilly just brought the car back around on the track very easily. I didn't quite see what happened, but as I was saying earlier, we did see contact last time Zach and Spilly were racing together, and I got a feeling we might have seen it again there. That's just out of the chicane on the entry to the next corner where that's happened. So whether Spilly's got a bad run through there and Zach's trying to make a lunge, but slowly all losing out to each other here. Pure Gold looks like he's going to hang on to second here. So this could be a big race for him. Obviously, Todster back in 6th. He's made a couple of spots up there. And then Spilly in 9th as well. So that is... yeah, looking like it's going to be even closer now in these point standings at the end of the weekend. I'll try and add them up a little bit as much as I can for us after we get this one. Crossy picks up a 3-second penalty there, and that could cost him his points for this race, which would be a shame for him after fighting to get back in there. He's up 7 spots. So the real fights now are probably between Schmidt. He's pulled it back in on Pure Gold there. I thought he might have nearly lost out a lot there, but he's pushing it wide. Zach in the background also pushing it very wide on the track limits. No, Banana, he didn't see it. Don't know what we're talking about. Also, I've only just seen your what do you call it? Sorry, I just put my mouth in front of my phone in front of my mouth nearly, which was in front of my mic. So you probably couldn't hear me that well. But I just saw your prediction. Yeah, we'll move on to next week with the predictions. Hey, Banana, we didn't see that one either. It's tight. Just here though. Everywhere else is split apart. I heard that Hungary's brought pretty good racing across both races in terms of there was fighting in a few different spots. Obviously, there was a 0.8 second gap between Zach and Spilly down to the penalties though. But yeah, they're kind of spread apart more than what I expected in this one. But obviously there has been a few accidents recently, and that's definitely always going to lever the kind of gap between the two cars across whatever group they're in. But yeah, Todster now on the back of Plevs as we see Schmidt also. Oh, another moment there from Pure Gold. Is he losing out on his tyres here? We've seen some big moments from the cars coming through that section in particular, and out of that last corner. Gold Gloves picked up a penalty there as well. I think Spilly might get 1 point for his efforts. I've got to give props to Wafer here. He did well and made it through the front as soon as possible there. And he's been able to pull away. He's just had the pace from this sprint race. Sometimes we see him get to the front real early on and then lose out because they push too hard, but he's done well. He's capitalised on all the mistakes from other people, and obviously being able to get through and keep it clean this race after what we saw last race. So much better race on his hands there. Both these guys still just behind. Spilly just behind Dre as well. A few lockups there from both of them. And Todster's picked up a 3-second penalty as well. Shouldn't affect him in terms of behind him, but that's going to hurt him with his battle with Plevs here. We know Plevs is pretty good with his warnings and penalties, so you just wait. Oh, Wafer's just picked one up. 3 seconds there. Obviously, that's not going to bother him too much when he's got nearly a 5-second gap. But if he keeps driving like that, it might. He's just pushing hard. So, Wafer is coming around the penultimate corner to start the last lap in a second. And we'll see one or two last. I reckon we'll probably see at least two last overtakes. There's a yellow in sector 3 there. And that's Spilly gone. So Spilly, I was going to say, he was nearly going to be my other one that was going to make a move there. He's picked up some damage. And yeah, obviously keeping it just out on track because you got to. Todster goes for a dive on Plevs here. And he kind of runs him out of space there on the exit. But I'm not sure if Plevs will say anything about that one. You never know. Schmidt also trying to... Plevs obviously going to hang on to that 5th spot if he can keep it close because of Todster's penalty. But yeah, Schmidt's been right on Pure Gold for nearly this whole race now, since he's been behind him. And he just hasn't been able to make any move or anything. Obviously not getting any good runs out of that last corner and not having it close enough. He's been close. We've seen the gap down to 0.3 a lot. But yeah, it's still not enough there, hey. And he's trying to close it up as much as possible to see if he can get one last lunge. So, Wafer here through the last corner. He's driven a great race there from the second row up from 4th to 1st. And he's just held on to this one on his own. And he will take the win here in the sprint race. Pure Gold hangs on to 2nd ahead of Schmidt and Zach. Zach did have a 3-second penalty. Todster's also got that 3-second penalty. So is Plevs going to move up? From what I've seen, Plevs has not moved up, so he must have had a penalty as well. So what do you know? Crossy 7th, Dre 8th, Kick Bart in the wall. Unfortunately, didn't do what he was trying to do. Just a bit of damage there, and the team aren't going to be happy about having to pay for that one. Yeah, a bit of a rough one for Spilly there in the end. Actually got beaten by his teammate in that race as well. So you don't see that one every day between the two Trident drivers, Lunacy in 13th and James, the last driver, coming around here. So we'll just be waiting on him. But another finish and more experience under the belt for James here, which is good to see. Obviously, we've seen him step in for Zach most of the season so far, but this time, Toes Rudy has been the one that hasn't made it to this race. So another drive for the Carlton team, and he, I believe, will tie for most appearances of that team now for the season. So we'll go down to the podium here, and congratulations to the Gaming Wafer on that win there in this race, ahead of Pure Gold and Schmidt in third. Now, Zach should take home the weekend win pretty comfortably, and I'd say Schmidt will probably be second and Wafer in third. So I'd say they'll be the three that we'll grab for post-race interviews. But yeah, congratulations to them. Here we go. We'll just see what the weekend results are in terms of this one here. And Zach Crichton gets 39 points for this one. Schmidt and Wafer tie with 25 apiece. Spilly and Pure Gold, 18 apiece. Plebs with 16. Kickbutt with 8. Toddy with 6, so that has really hurt him there, and Schmidt's going to be in a really nice position here. I think it's going to be pretty tight between all three. There should be less than 10 points between all three of them now. Dre with 5, Crossy with 4, Roscoe with 2, and Lunacy with 1. Now, we've only got a quick little bit of time here, but I will try and get them in just really quick. Of course, he's in offline mode. And unfortunately, I missed Wafer there. All right.
Yeah, Kev wants to do it, mate.
Yeah, not a lot. Hey, I'm just gonna get.
Man, I got you.
Rippo. Yeah, nice little fight back there. I didn't see what happened. I'll ask you about that in a second. I kind of missed it, to be honest. Yeah, everyone can hear. It's okay. No one heard anything. No spoilers yet. Trying to get Wafer in, but of course I don't have him as a friend, and he left the session early, and we haven't got too much time here, so There he is. I'll just get a quick one. So before they get in, I'll just jump in with you. Obviously, very, very comfortable first race there, apart from the penalties on hand, but walked away with maximum points there in the feature race. Obviously, qualifying on pole, getting the fastest lap, and leading from start to finish there. Only real little battle you had was on that first lap there with Crossy. So just talk us through how you went there and obviously everything that went down in that second race as well.
That first race was quite strange. And for the formation lap, I was like drifting everywhere, so I had 30% on my tyres from the start. So that wasn't ideal, but we managed to survive. First lap, just trying to find my feet really with the wet track, and after that it was smooth sailing. Then I think I was 63 k's in the pit lane, so got 5 seconds there, then just 3 seconds somewhere else. But I was really happy with my pace in the wet and dry. And then that second race started P8 and got yellowing damage by turn 2, so it wasn't ideal, and then just had to be patient and try and fight my way back up to 4th, which I did luckily. So it was a good return back to F2. It was good fun.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously seeing you come back after a little bit of absence, I think since round 1. But yeah, so ultimately a really good race there and a good weekend for you to get back into the F2 series. I just want to ask, in that sprint race, I missed it, but I did see Spilly go around. Was there contact between the two of you?
So he spun up the rears and went off the track, and then he tried to come back on and just did complete unsafe rejoin and hit the side of my car and looped it right in front of Matt. So it's unfortunate there, but nothing I can do.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Not my fault at all.
That's it. And I'll just move on to the Gaming Wafer. Congratulations, mate, on that sprint race victory. Obviously, we saw in the feature race as well. Nice little battle there for the last spot on the podium. Obviously, just on that last lap, you went for a lunge and it didn't pay off for you, but still brought it home in P5, I believe. But yeah, so just talk us through your race weekend and how you felt it went. Degree tires. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But yeah, no, pretty... I think I did get it. I can't remember if I did, but I think I did. But yeah, no, really nice race there. Obviously pulled away, and I saw you did pick up a 3-second penalty, but obviously you had a big enough gap, and it was pretty comfortable for you in that one. So congratulations to both of you on your weekend. We'll have to wrap things up here. I know you guys have got things you've got to be doing. So congratulations to both of you, and we will see you next week.